We are now recording.
Alrighty. I am calling the Sebago School Department School Committee meeting to order on Tuesday, May 26, 2020 at 6:30 via a virtual meeting. And pursuant to subsection 402-A of 1 MRSA, we will now confirm that each member of the committee can both hear and be heard. Donnell Allen, and I have to call every vote a roll,
I have to ask a question.
of course.
I have audio. Is this only an audio meeting or is it video as well?
It is video as well.
Hi, Randa.
Hey. Okay. There. Oh, wait. Now it's doing weird things.
Stop moving.
Can
She's
you
in a
guys
getaway
see
car.
me?
Yep, we can hear you and we can see you, Donnell.
Okay. I can't see me, but I can see some of you. So, okay.
Kathy Garish, do you have, where'd she go?
I'm here.
Okay, do you have this electronically? Because I don't think I have this electronically to type in the, or if you're here, so you can do the roll.
I can't do the roll. Okay.
Okay,
I have the copy of the roll right here. Do you want me to keep track?
I don't have it electronically like I did last time, that's all.
Oh, Kathy, you want me to do it, or are you gonna, or do you have the
Well,
like,
that's fine.
you what?
You can do it.
Okay. All right, so I'm checking that we all can hear, okay, and be heard. Donnell.
Here.
Okay, Audrey Schoolcraft.
She is not here.
Yeah, okay. Joe McMahon.
I need this copy when it comes off the printer.
Joe, can you see and hear us?
Joe is not here either.
Okay, Wendy?
Yeah, I'm here.
All righty. And I'm here.
Okay,
Okay,
Joe
we
just
gotta wait for
joined us.
Joe.
Yep, Joy just joined us.
Now, we're also like to confirm members of the public that are remotely attending the public proceedings. Can you hear all of the members?
Yes,
Can you?
I can hear everyone.
Okay, very
So
good.
our public members are Leslie McConnell.
Leslie, where are you?
Can you
Right
hear us,
here.
Leslie? Can we hear you?
I can hear you. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
Yep, and we also have Chris Balchunas
Chris,
Yep, here.
you there?
and Mandy Dearborn, and I believe that is it for public.
Mandy, can you hear us and see us?
Yes, and I have Jeremy Turon here with me.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay, I didn't hear from Chris.
Chris Balchunas, can you hear us?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you now.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
Okay, where's Joe?
I saw him get
Joe is
on.
Joe is muted.
Oh, there's Alan. Good, Alan, thank you.
Hi there.
Joe McMahon, I think, is trying to connect himself right now. It seems to be taking a little bit longer than usual.
Well, I see him on the list, but it says that he's clicked his mute thing.
It says connecting to audio. I don't think it's connected yet.
Joseph.
He may end up needing to sign back in.
Yep.
Would be my guess.
There's Alan.
I just had to find the right button to click. You know, us Luddites have trouble, right, Tina?
Yes. Getting pretty good at this. Joseph.
He's muted now.
I just sent you the agenda, Kirsten, if you want to get
Oh.
it.
Okay.
Hey, Kirsten,
Yes, ma'am.
while we're waiting, I never got a link for the "We'll Be There For You" video.
Oh. I think pretty sure I
didn't-
sent that out to the school committee.
Did you? I didn't
got
see it.
It was really good.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
Wendy, you told me about that and I forgot about you today. I left in a
Yeah.
hurry and
Oh, that's
we'll
okay.
send it
I
out
just-
to you.
Okay, thanks. And then also the Brenda's art video. She sent it to me personally from my other email address, but I didn't see it that everybody else got her art video. I saw the music video, the music. But just
Donnell, did you get the art show?
No, I didn't.
I did.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll make a note of that.
yeah, because that was worth seeing for sure.
Oh, yeah,
It really
absolutely.
was.
I was convinced I did that, but I must have missed it.
Yeah.
So the art show and the science fair are both available on the website. Those links are right there.
Yay.
And Wendy, and actually the "We'll Be There For You" is on there as well. All three of those things are right on the school's website, right on the front page. All right, so Joe is here and we should be able to, I don't know if that's his head, it must be the back of his chair.
It's the camera not
He's having
doing.
the ghost thing, yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's okay, Joe, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
What is he doing? I shouldn't ask. Okay, never mind.
Okay,
I'll see if I can get it to get smart, but that's the camera.
Okay. All right. Shall we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'll stand up.
run over it though.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I can't stand it. Recite the pledge without a flag. I did ask for one agenda adjustment, and that was the virtual chair meeting that I went to last Monday. So I'll give a report on that down under the report section. We'll put it in as B. All right, and then hopefully you've all had a chance to read the minutes.
Yep.
But I have a motion to accept the minutes. I found one typo.
Only
governor-
one, Tina?
Only one, Alan. And it's under the update on school closures on the third page. The governor is a she.
That's right. Now that you say that.
The roots were showing the other day. Bad, Tina, bad.
I see what's wrong. The sun's coming over my shoulder.
Oh,
Oh,
teacher,
wow.
you're looking better now.
You're looking kind of celestial.
I know, inspirational.
Could I have a motion to accept or reject the minutes of the last meeting, please?
I move that we accept the minutes of the last meeting.
Seconded?
All right, Donnell? Accept
Yes.
or? Yes?
Oh. Sorry.
Okay. Joe? Joe, do you accept the minutes of the last meeting?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Wendy?
Yep.
Okay. And Tina is a yes. Okay, that's done. Are there any public comments on agenda items? Please let me know by going to the chat box or chiming in to say you'd like to speak. Going once, going twice, gone. Okay. On to presentations and reports. Part A is Read 2000. I don't know who's giving that report.
No, Mark and I talked about that, and that is not happening.
Oh, well, all right, we'll just cross that off. That's an agenda adjustment.
Yep.
Okay. Got that under adjustments, Alan?
I got that.
Okay. Okay. I attended that virtual meeting for the chairs, and it pretty much, for most of it, pertained to special education and the difficulties that special education are facing, and that the evaluation timelines are out the window. And there's going to be a backlog in the fall for the annual reviews and writing new IEPs. I would assume it's going to be a nightmare. Because of the amount of time that the kids have been out of school, they've talked about extended year services for the kids, for special needs students. And this will probably be virtually person to person. They will make the accommodations as necessary for the individual children. And then they're talking about, there's a term out for compensatory education. And this is defined as what is needed to get the kids back up to speed, because undoubtedly they've lost some ground with this situation the way it is. And as yet, there were, at that meeting last week, Mark, you may have more information, or you and Kirsten, on there's no agreement about the opening of school.
Yes.
They're also talked about using ed text to help deliver services through IEPT meetings for adjustments. So to pull the ed text to help with that situation. There's also a slideshow that was sent to the school committee on the whole presentation that I attended. And some of it's really quite interesting. It goes into a lot of detail. So the websites, if it's not there, then let me know and I'll send it to you. There also were suggestions, discussions about the amount of work that a student should be doing with virtual learning, and for elementary it was 3 hours. Do you know how that's averaging out, Kirsten?
So that really, what we did is we went and looked and made a determination. I believe it was an hour for students in grades pre-K to first, 90 minutes for second and third, fourth and fifth. I believe we went with 2 hours.
Okay.
May have been 90 minutes for first grade, because I'm doing that from the top of my head.
Yeah.
And that included things like, and that's per day, meeting with your teacher, meeting one-on-one with the Title I teacher or your special ed teacher, or if you had OT or speech or those kinds of services. So that's some of the online stuff, but also the packets that have been sent home, reading, all those things add up. And most of the families, I'm sure, did more than that, but it also took some of the stress off of them if they knew, okay, we've hit the wall and it's okay for today.
Right. Okay.
I can address several of those other things that you've mentioned as well.
Well, you want, go ahead.
So the IEP backlog, I actually think we're going to be in relatively good shape with that. I don't think we're going to have very much of an IEP backlog. I know that Sarah Hillary and Sue Harmon have been keeping up with the IEPs, and they've just been doing virtual IEPs.
That's great.
ESY for the kids is being offered to special ed students who would normally qualify for it. It's going to be done virtually, and some families have chosen, if it's just going to be virtually, then we're not doing it. And that's up to them to refuse it. It's not a required thing, and it doesn't violate the IEP if the parent says, no, we're not going to participate. Compensatory education, that's going to have to be a wait and see. We'll see where the kids are at. How far did they fall behind? But knowing that everybody else is in the same book, so that we're going to be paying attention to that. Reopening schools, that was I think Mark was going to address that, as well as I think it was probably in my comments as well, that we don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
But when we have our PD days on June 8th to 11th, we are going to be discussing and creating some plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D for the what ifs when we reopen. We have 2 special ed techs that obviously work with our special ed students. We also have 1 ed tech who is an interventionist. All 3 of those ed techs are full-time, and they work where needed. So I think I've hit all of the questions you had so far from your meeting.
Okay. Now, I've got a question on the compensatory education part.
Mhm.
How is it going to be determined for like mainstream kids?
So compensatory education applies to special ed students only.
It's only, okay.
Right. So, did a child miss out on a lot of physical therapy?
Yeah.
Then we would try to figure out a way, if it is deemed necessary, for that child to receive physical therapy either during the school day or maybe after school. Those are different options that have been discussed and haven't been decided upon yet.
Okay. Good. Anybody have any questions as I'm going along? And then they went on to some stuff about the budget. The legal advice coming through the state is that school committee members remain on board until the next election. So technically the elections are usually at the end of May, but it's not until July this year. So we're all have to stay on board until that meeting. Our budget is what, July 17th, town meeting is July what, 17th?
14th, I think.
14th?
July 14th.
Okay, July 14th.
Mhm.
It says that they may not be held until you can vote in person. Must be open for at least 4 hours for a town hall meeting and a school budget meeting. They cannot be held virtually unless the governor has a waiver to that. Now, maybe you know more about that now, Mark, than they did at that meeting.
There's no waiver that I know of at this time. I talked to Michelle. MSMA is recommending live meetings to make sure that everybody has full participation. And right now, the plan is June 23rd for a live meeting for the town budget hearing and the school budget hearing, just like last time. The town starts at 6:30, we start whenever they're done.
Okay.
Would that be part of the regular town meeting that we would be at?
Yeah, remember last year we had a school board meeting and then we all went to the second half of the town meeting? Right now, it's still get together one time on the 23rd, 6:30 town meeting, and then our meeting after, whenever that is.
But what about, there's not supposed to be any more than 50 people gathered at one point, at one time or one place. That defies that order. So how does that work?
Because last year there wasn't 50 there?
I know, but we could. I mean, you can't say that,
I guess, I don't
if you had a
know.
lot of people show up, then.
The good part is for our meeting, a lot of people leave, so we're probably under 50. But I don't know what they're gonna do if they push 50 on that.
Mark, I talked to Michelle on this, and she said that one of the things they were considering was to have overflow downstairs with a microphone and a speaker. But she frankly said, just like you said, based on past attendance, we're probably going to be okay, and they would just arrange the chairs for distancing with a group of 50. So she says we're taking a chance, but she's comfortable that it'll be okay on the date schedule.
If she does the downstairs thing, we can set up like a remote feed and people could still vote. Remember those 2 warrant articles that have to be on a ballot? So they could vote downstairs and the other people could vote upstairs. But right now, she was not planning on that at this time, like you said. She's expecting under 50.
Also, I would ask that that people would be required to wear masks because we would be inside.
Mhm. I agree, Wendy.
Because
I
I won't,
agree.
I won't attend unless everybody is required to wear a mask. I think it's really critical.
I think that's still a state requirement, and a sign at the door
Good.
would awfully help. And Maureen. Question, Mark.
Yep.
The school committee meeting in advance, have you guys decided where? Is it going to be
Let's-
virtual like tonight, or?
Let's hold off on that, and that's on the agenda for later.
Okay, all right.
Unless you want to do
Didn't
it
mean to
now,
bump you
Tina, I
up.
can explain
No,
that
that's
now if
okay.
you
Let's
want.
stay on
Stay on the
task.
agenda. Sorry.
No problem. But we talked about that this afternoon at length.
Okay, Mark, this is, and you probably already have this information, but they said, according to Drummond Woodman, that you can move more than 5% between cost centers.
Yeah. I don't know what that's about because you could always move 5% among cost centers.
But now they're saying you can move more than.
Yeah. That's okay. It won't be an issue for us.
Okay, well, I figured you knew what that was.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And they were saying they were wanting to plan carefully because we're not knowing what state funding is going to be for next
Yeah.
year,
Mhm.
or what the 2021 shortfall can't be predicted. So to be extremely conservative with our spending. Aware grants. I don't know if we ever work with aware grants. They're not
Aware?
being aware, AWARE.
I am not familiar with that.
Well, it said that they're not being funded in Maine due to medical marijuana.
All right.
I have never heard that.
Probably why
Tina.
we're not.
I can't help you.
Okay, well, I thought we'd try. Also, as far as grades go, some schools are saying pass or incomplete, and they're saying especially for the elementary grades, it should be pass or incomplete. I don't know what we're doing for the kids for their grades, their final grades.
So
Yes.
what we have decided to do for our final grades is we are putting an R for the last trimester on every standard. And the R just stands for remote learning.
Okay.
We're not holding anybody back due to anything they did or did not do. And then we did progress reports. I think that was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago we sent home. And it was a different kind of progress report than we've ever done in the past because it was actually more like a letter. These are the things we've noticed you doing. This is great. Keep up the work. How can we help you? It was very positive and encouraging and recognizing the things that they were doing and offering assistance. It was a different kind of progress report that we've done. And we'll do something similar to that as an actual final report card.
Now, when they do come back, because it said to allow a great deal of flexibility in grading across the age bands.
Yep.
So, but I still have, I mean, we don't want to hold anybody back. That's not right.
No.
But will the
And we're not.
teachers, no, right. But will the teachers be doing some sort of assessment, whether it's formal or informal?
When they return?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
take
yes.
this one,
You're
Kirsten.
going to have to do something to know where the language arts classes or the art classes or the math classes are going to take off.
Right.
So what we did there is, we have NWA testing, which we rely on quite a bit.
Right.
And the answers are pretty quick. Well, we're obviously not testing this spring because it just won't work.
Right.
So instead of having a fall to spring data to look at and measure growth, we're going to test again fairly early in the fall.
Mhm.
And NWA knows this is happening throughout the country. They're
Right.
adjusting their forms to give us a fall to fall growth.
Oh,
When you do fall to fall growth, you're including the summer slide.
Mhm.
So I think in this case, it's going to be, at least we have a strong data point so we can tell, how individual kids are growing or not growing and where they are,
right.
right? So that's one. The second one is DRAs. And there might be some other tools that we could use. I'm going to talk a little bit about iExcel later. We can take a look at where they are. Listen, the most important thing when we come back next year and what we're trying to put a lot of emphasis on is the mental and not physical, the mental and happiness, well-being of the kids when they come back. Because there's also issues in that have been coming up also. And so it's not summer slide. What we want to do is reestablish that trust with the kids and reestablish the time we spend in finding out, what issues they have. And Kirsten's going to talk about that when she does her. We've got a program that we're going to hopefully pay with that new grant we have. But, concentrate on that. Let's get some data. And then more than ever, I've always been a preacher, and we all have, is teaching kids where they are. So now it's going to be even harder because we haven't seen the kid. This has never happened in history. Think about it. Last time we saw them was March 13th. By the time October rolls around, quick math, that's a long time. And so we need to find out where they are. We have to take care of their emotional well-being. We have to have a plan, which is a whole different thing. I hope it's not disruptive. But we need a plan that's consistent, that's communicating, right? And the last thing, I'm preaching now, but we've had this tremendous opportunity to build closer relationships with parents. For pre-K, for K, for all the way through, there's been this more and better, in my opinion, understanding. Not always positive, not always great, but I think there's a great opportunity. So next year we have to take advantage of that, and we'll lose that advantage that we created by building stronger relationships with parents. And the last piece is technology. We weren't ready for this. I mean, right now we're virtually one-on-one K-5, and there's not a whole bunch of schools that can say that. So, the whole idea of sending computers home, we weren't sending them home. Is computers the answer? Is the computers? No, but parents are a bigger piece, and then technology can be a different piece for some kids to see if it works. And we're in a unique situation because we got new good machines, and we got Avery, which is another big plus for us. But we also have a lot of young teachers that adapted well to this also, young and old. But we have a bunch of teachers that adapted well to this. So that was a long answer. So the final thing I'm going to say is assessment's the least of our worries in the first quarter of next year.
Okay.
Third.
I'm just thinking about the poor teachers and the kids, where do we?
And we have some stuff we might have ready for you, but we're in discussions maybe next year to help that. Yeah. If we're going to add these things like well-being on the plate, something's got to come off.
Yep.
And one of the things we're discussing, and no decisions made, we haven't talked to the teachers about it, is, maybe making some adjustments for social studies and science and giving us some more flexibility in those areas, right?
Yeah.
And then trying to do some more expeditionary learning. But, you're not going to fix everything in one semester.
Can't.
But the idea is the assessment's not driving us first quarter next year.
Good. Excellent.
I guess that's the bottom line.
Yeah. And the last thing that I was going to bring up, but you brought it up, Mark, was that they wanted us to focus on the mental health of our students and teachers.
I'm hearing that everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I was saving that till last because I thought that was the biggest piece.
And it's really important too.
Yep.
There's an adjustment for everybody here. Those kids have been home and they haven't been, in daycare. I guess there is some daycare, but my grandkid hasn't seen it in a while. There's some opportunities there. We'll make it positive. There's some opportunities for us to support kids.
All right. Okay, enough from me. Kirsten.
All right, so principal's report. So on May 6th, we received 9 brand new Chromebooks for our students to use. We received these free of charge to the state after I answered a technology survey at the beginning of the pandemic. So we have some new Chromebooks that we can set up for the kids to use. Enrollment packets are being sent home to all families that have contacted us to enroll their children in pre-K or K. It's now on the sign out front. So if anybody calls in, we'll send them a packet. The last day of formal remote learning will be next Friday, June 5th. We will have PD days, June 8th to 11th, in person at the school. The focus of this PD, we'll have two major foci. One is about the new SEL program, which is a social emotional learning program. And it will help our teachers help our students to be in a good mental health space for academic learning. And this is something that will happen every day. And also to create plans for reopening for next year. So those will be the two big things that we work on during those days. On June 12th, we will have a drive-through celebration for all of our students. We'll break them up by grade level starting at 9 o'clock into half-hour increments, starting with pre-K. Families with multiple children can choose which time to come, so they only have to come once. And once they receive all their certificates and drop off, like if they're not keeping the computer for the summer, they're going to drop it off. And then they continue up to the main office where we give them their envelope of certificates and awards and whatever else they're getting. They continue around the corner or around the circle, and they will get an ice cream. Thanks to the PTC that we have an ice cream truck coming that day. So that is what I have for you.
Good. How's staff holding up?
They're doing pretty well. I've had some teachers say, geez, I don't think I've ever worked this hard.
Yes. I bet it's a lot harder than it is being there in person.
It is. It is very different, and it's emotionally trying for staff that can't connect to some of the kids for whatever reason. They're not, and they know those kids would really benefit from that connection, and it's not happening.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much, Kirsten.
You're welcome.
Mark, you're on deck.
I'll only do the parts that we haven't discussed already. The only other thing I wanted to add for the professional development time we're going to have from June 8th to 11th is like consolidate our gains. Like, what have we learned during this pandemic? I think it's going to be important to acknowledge the good things that happened. And then, because we don't know, like this could come back, or it could be a different pandemic. But I'd really like to consolidate what we learned and codify it. What did we do right? What did we do wrong? So we have some kind of blueprint to go by if it ever happens again. Especially if it happens in the short term. If there's another spike in October or March of next year, we have to be ready for that. The next one, I just want, there's been discussions with our pre-K teachers and, CDC, special ed, the whole bit about pre-K for 2021. We had discussions way back about going half day, about going 4 days, right? What we discovered this year is we need a little bit of time because nap time is not giving us the teacher, giving teachers time to do work. Nap time's not working out as we planned. Imagine that. So next year we're gonna have this for you. We're kind of moving forward that way, but we'll bring it back next month. Kathy, or Alan, make sure that gets on there, please. Is that we're thinking about going to 4.5 days, which is not unprecedented. That would give us a Friday afternoon break for them to do some planning. So basically they'd have a clean planning time, and it gives the kids a little bit of a break. By the time Friday comes, they're tired. So we're going to try it, and we'll see how it adjusts. And, I think we need a vote on this, so we're going to bring it back to you next month, and then we'll go ahead and see if they're willing to support that before we codify it. But so we just wanted to let you know, because some of the paperwork that's going out may mention that. And then if you don't agree next month, we'll change it, right?
Okay.
So the other thing is, go ahead.
I was going to say, is there any reason why we can't take a vote on it today, other than it
I was
wasn't on the
thinking that
agenda?
same thing. Why don't we move that to an action item? And then I'll explain it a little better, and then we can take care of it right now.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing is update on summer programming. I think that's been covered pretty well. The answer is we're not doing summer programming other than the specific help we need for targeted kids who have it in their IEP. That's going to be done by Sue and Eileen, I believe, Kirsten.
Yes.
And they're going to, so all our IEP students will be getting what they need for services. They'll just be getting it remotely. So no kids in our building this summer. Basically, we're trying to arrange our lives. So, you know, July is, we're just going to be closed. And that includes June, and, you know, we're just going to be closed in July. Teacher appreciation, just give you a heads up. You know, that was, we did make an effort and wrote a note to teachers, and we ended up getting some little packets of olive oil and balsamic vinaigrette, and well appreciated. Everybody liked it. Lots of thank you notes. All good. And we're going to be doing some flowers the last day of school also. Remote learning survey. Let me see if I can do this. If I go and share my screen. Now, you guys all have received a copy of that remote learning survey, correct?
Yes.
The one that had all the pie charts on it?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, we can, let me see if this works just to make sure.
You can do it, Mark. You can do it.
Host disable participant screen sharing, Kirsten.
Uh-oh.
Why'd you do that to me?
Oh, well, that's so that people don't randomly come in and, you know, do awful things. Enable.
While she's doing that, I'll go to the next one.
Okay, it should be all set. Yeah, you should be able to do that. I did forget to mention that we have a staff parade on June 15th, starting at 10.
Yeah.
Is that going to be at the school, Kirsten, or
It's going to start at the school, and we'll drive around town. Our bus driver, Jay, created a route that makes it possible for us to drive around without having to, like, do 3-point turns in the middle of the road.
Can you guys see my screen all right?
We can.
All right, I'm going to try to minimize this, and if I can get it back. You know, we've seen this, and we shared it with the staff, and I got a kick out of it. We shared it with staff, and, you know, there's 18 positive comments and 4 negative comments, and all anybody talked about for 20 minutes or a half hour was the negative comments. But, you know, all of this is, I'm just going to share you a couple of slides to show you that, you know, overall, this is positive. Are we perfect? No. But if you look about, did you receive feedback from teacher for any of your work? 84% were positive on that. Counter parents, how do your children feel about remote learning so far? Remember, this was right in the teeth of it. You know what I mean? Before the weather started getting nice, but hey, when you're looking at 60% positive and 30% negative, that's 2 to 1 with 10% uncommitted. You know, you're in pretty good shape there. You know, a bunch of comments. You guys had a chance to look at those. A lot of positive comments. We took all of them appropriately as we could, and did something to change it. The amount of work is a big one, because when I go to my superintendent meetings, there's a lot of angry parents, and this is us listening, because, you know, we weren't explaining it enough that when we offered work for the kids, this wasn't a mandate. It was an opportunity for you to use something. But all in all, when 2/3 of your parents, actually better than 2/3 of the parents, agreed or strongly agreed that the amount of work was appropriate, that's not as easy as it sounds. How much time has your child spent on schoolwork each day? We had suggested limits, you know, like I can't remember exactly, but something like an hour for K, and, you know, an hour and a half for 1 or 2. And roughly, most of the people said it's the same, a little bit more. You look at that, that's about 50%. much more than suggested limits. So if you take a look at these three pieces right here, I think hopefully our kids take advantage of it. All this is beautiful. I just can't wait to see the data in the spring. Count of parents who answered yes. How helpful is the website as a resource? 50%, very helpful. We tried our best. We put a lot of stuff on the website, but the website was basically used for specialists. Then we found out the specialists weren't getting tapped as much as they should have. So then we asked the teachers to recommend and push people towards a specialist. And then things went a lot better from there. The important part here is that we asked for a survey. We did a town meeting kind of deal. We asked for input, we got input, and more importantly, we listened. So I think that was a good thing. Everybody else set on that?
A big thank you and kudos to the administration and staff.
Yes.
Thank
There's
you.
just no way to show our appreciation for what they've done. I mean,
Right.
you listened, you had the meetings, you listened, you fixed it, and the
Yeah.
parents are appreciative of it. And that's,
Yeah.
that's the
And
proof
now
in
we're
the
going to
pudding.
see. We'll see what the data says.
Yeah.
Uh,
But again, Mark, it's the communication between the school and the parents. You know,
and
they
there's no
realize that
question, in
you're
my opinion, it's gotten better, especially
That's it.
from the teacher to the parents.
Yeah.
I sent out all my superintendent letters. Poor Kathy had to type up, must have been 50 letters today. That's half the kids will be getting a letter from me in the next few
Wow.
days, from recommendations from the teachers. So that's
Yeah.
good.
That's great.
Virtual superintendent meetings, extremely frustrating, right? Because we spend all our time talking about what might happen, and mostly right now the focus is how are we going to reopen schools in the fall. Every superintendent seems to have a different opinion. We got a wonderful document first time from DOE today, which was a first draft, and it said not to share, specifically said not to share. But as soon as I get a shareable copy, I will share with you. But it's pretty vague, right? Chris has been feeding me information. The other people in the superintendent, there's very strong opinions. There's everything from we're going back to school, we're going back full time, right? To going back half time, half the kids. We've got the Vietnamese run. I sent you guys the Maryland example, which is getting a lot of play at DOE. So, we're coming back, I hope, because this remote learning, while we did a decent job, is not the answer for having kids in the classroom, having them build social skills, be in a place where they're safe and protected. And, we want to come back. And I'm frustrated because I don't have an answer. So here's the deal. Kirsten and I are going to work on this as we collect information, right? I don't think we're going to have like a reintroduction plan by June, but the goal is to present you something at the June meeting. Well, I've talked to the parents already. We're planning on talking to the parents. We're going to have talked to the teachers at our professional development time. I like to put together some ideas, but not panic in June, because we'll have a whole month when we come back in August, and we'll still have the adjustability to do things. Some things we can't wait, like how much, we need to get some PPEs, we need to get masks, we need to find out where the rules are. I don't particularly want my teachers in a face mask, but if we have to, we have to. I doubt that. It's going to be mask. I don't know how you social distance, and I don't know how you get a 1-year-old to wear a mask all the time. I don't know. So the answer to that question is, I don't know. And two, hopefully I'll get even more specific guidance, because this has got to be a team game. This can't be Sebago making decisions for Sebago and Gorham next door having a whole different plan, because we're going to be exposed. Like today, I got a letter from the lawyer. We got to put a sign on the playground saying it's COVID and it's closed, because somebody already got sued in the state of Maine because they didn't post. They said playgrounds closed, but there wasn't enough information on it. This is just a start, right? So what we need to do is, in my opinion, continue to go to these superintendent meetings and try to get a consensus like we did when we were going to cut school out. We need a consensus about when it comes back. And I am telling you, that is going to be interesting because there are boards and superintendents very, very aggressive, saying come back, right? And there's others that say very aggressive with being much slower, safer, phase in. But, you know, everybody's worried about money. So if we need PPEs, what do we need for PPEs? What are we going to have to buy? If we're going to take the kids and split them in half to allow for greater social distancing, that's 2 bus runs, right? And if the teachers have half in the morning, half in the afternoon, when are they going to do their distance learning stuff? Because they're going to have to be dealing with those kids in such a way also. So plenty of challenges, plenty of ideas. DOE today, we had the Maryland plan. We had the CDC recommendations that I shared with you. I've seen the Vietnam plan. I've seen the Denmark plan. It's not a decision. I think we need help and we have to stick together. So we're not ignoring it, but I'm going to feel much better making decisions late June or early August.
Yeah.
So what else? Money. Tina started talking about money, right? Well, the money right now seems like we're going to be okay for this fiscal year. In other words, we have a budget, right? And the state is going to do everything in their power to honor. See, for us, it's less important because we're receiving a small amount from the state. But to us, it's still important because it's real money. So you said earlier, so everything we're hearing is really tighten up next year as far as discretionary spending and try to put as much as you can away into a carryover fund for the year 21, 22. Excuse me, for the year 2021. And that's going to be extra important. You know, just to give you a small example, we were going to do the hallway rug. It's $9,000. And today we said, you know what? No, that's $9,000. We don't have to spend. That's discretionary. But on the other hand, we may need more resources to help us get these kids back up to speed. So, you know, it's a two-way street, but I think we're just going to have to be as conservative as we can as we move forward in the next fiscal period, because what everybody's worried about at the superintendent thing, it's not so much this year.
Next year.
We're hopefully going to get about $22,000 from that COVID money. 22 grand is not a lot of money, but it helps. Anyways, there's budget concerns, very much so, in the next fiscal period.
I have a question, Mark.
Sure.
I have somebody I know who's, she works for a big corporation, who is willing to double any kind of donation that she gives to a nonprofit. And she was asking me, what could she do for the school? But it has to be like a designated nonprofit. Could she give money to like the PTC, or she couldn't give it to the school outright? Is that correct?
At some point in the future, we need to establish an, what the name of it is, a 401c, a 401c, so that we have like a foundation. Like a lot of schools have foundations, Gorham has one. So we have a place to accept that money in a charitable way so that the people who give it can get a legal write-off. That's something that in the future we have to do. Right now, PTC has got a 401c plan, right, Kirsten?
They have a 503c.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
So yes, if you donated it to the PTC, they can get a letter back saying you.
And she could designate it for something specific for the school, like say for the COVID-19, I don't know, facility project or whatever you would want to call it, because she would want it not necessarily go for the playground, or, you know, she would want that specific. So I was wondering if the PTC, because it did come up as a legitimate nonprofit. Spice did not, because I think we're too new. But
Right,
that's
you
okay.
guys
It doesn't-
didn't
You just
fill
gotta
out the
get your
paperwork.
paperwork.
Yeah.
So,
I wrote
so
that down. That's something, you know what sells? Because I was on a board at Thomas for years and they're excellent fundraisers. You say, hey, could you donate to help us with the kids at COVID? That's beautiful. Would you help us with, I'm making stuff up now, a specific plan to help us catch these kids up? You see what I mean? Or what do you need? People, what do you need? I don't know. Like we're still looking for the bikes and that's gone up to the back window, but healthy outdoor activities. Your committee, Wendy, mentioned, part of this may be more healthy outside activities so that we can work in smaller groups, so you can move kids forward. It's a good idea. I wrote it down. Let me talk about it. Don't let me forget. Text me before the next school board meeting, and I will get to that.
So Kirsten, do you have the contact information for the PTC? Because I don't.
It is
Or is that-
actually Sebago. Give me 2 seconds. Sebago PTC. I think it's at Gmail. Sebago. This one. SebagoPTC@gmail.com.
Okay, thank you.
All set?
Right, thanks.
I got a long list tonight. COVID, the grant is in process. The best estimate is going to be around $22,000 if everything goes right. That's a early estimate, but it'll be somewhere between 18 and 24. So it wasn't the huge money I thought it would be, but that's what it is. E-rate equipment, once again, Avery wrote a successful E-rate grant. We're going to get about roughly 12,000 out of that. And all upgrading equipment and infrastructure for our technology at the school. Not bragging, we got the best. I'll put us up against any school in the state of Maine, and that's not an exaggeration, because we invested heavily and we were due for a restart, all new routers, everything. After this, almost everything is going to be top of the line. And that's incredible for a small older building. Reopening plan, I'm done, but what we're gonna do, everybody's doing this. Somehow, somewhere, we're gonna have a meeting and have input from school board members, community, parents, so that we can before we put the final plan together, everybody's had a chance to get into it. I don't wanna waste anybody's time right now. I'll have something for discussion points for you at the next meeting. Summer school, we already talked about. Summer food service. Okay, you can see that on the screen. We don't have the numbers for May or June yet, but May is going to be very similar to to April, and June is going to be about 2/3 of that. Excuse me. All our fixed costs are covered. So you make a long story short, we've done a lot of meals. In April we did 4,000 meals, and right now we're breaking out to I was amazed when I saw this. It was within $115. So I think what I said at the beginning was it's not going to be a big money maker, but it's not going to cost us anything either. So we're in line with our lunch cost. More importantly, we provided 4,000 meals to our kids and our kids' families during the month of April. We'll have at least those numbers in May, probably very similar, and 2/3 of those numbers in June. We're going to continue to deliver meals till June 12th. From June 12th to June 30th, deliveries will stop, but we'll still be able to sign people up to come in and collect meals as they need. All they got to do is let us know.
Mark, is there something that we can plan to do for appreciation to that kitchen staff? Those girls have worked their tails off this summer. I know, I went down and volunteered one week. I was exhausted. And that was just 2 days.
You
Yes,
you
it is.
volunteered with your bad finger and everything.
I did. It's almost healed, though, Kirsten. Almost
That's
good.
Okay, that's the second thing I've written down, but maybe we can put them on a float in a parade and then buy them some nice gifts or something, you know?
I think there should be something special for those folks. I
Yeah,
really
put them in
do.
the parade, maybe. I just thought of
Yeah.
that 3 seconds ago, so. I know it's more than that. Okay, so next.
Update on
Special
special
education director position. We had a fantastic candidate. Unfortunately, she took a position full-time at another district. So we're right back to step one on that. Very disappointing. Recheck budget timeline. I think we covered this pretty well. June 23rd, 6:30 is the town budget hearing. We're going to be coming in after. And July 14th is the vote. So, and we'll get to the more timing on that in a second. Well, I guess it's right now. Discussion of July meeting, talking about, if you look at the last page of your agenda, you heard earlier, and I have talked to Tina about this, about, you know, not having a meeting in July. Everybody takes a month off, decompresses. So that means we have a school committee meeting at June 23rd, 2:20. Now, the town meeting is at 6:30. So, but, you know, it's going to be minimum an hour and a half for the town to do their thing. So we were thinking if we went from 6 to 7 that day, and then we could transition, we can meet at the high school, or we can meet in the town office room, or if we want to leave, I think, you know, we can leave that open. We can still have a virtual meeting that day. And then everybody, as long as we have a quorum, can go over to, so I just want people that are comfortable. I don't want anybody that's uncomfortable. So I was thinking about Audrey and Tina and I were talking, planning this. It was, right now, the plan is to have it live. I don't know where. Like, remember last year we met at the school and then we all got in our cars and drove to the town hall, right?
Yeah.
This year I was thinking maybe we can do the town hall, but I say leave it open because we could do a virtual meeting on June 23rd, right? And then we need a quorum. If they're going forward with a live meeting, we need a quorum for roughly 7:30 at the town hall on June 23rd so that we can have our school budget hearing. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
So what would that mean? I'm not sure I understand. We'd have
So
our,
June 23rd, we have a school
Right.
board meeting.
right,
I'm saying we're going to leave it open right now. And we can say we can have it virtual, we can have it at the school, or we can have it at the town hall. And we don't have to decide that today, as long as we all put pencils in and say, you know, 6 o'clock. You know, the other thing is, Kathy, we really wanted to have another
Policy meeting.
policy meeting.
Yep.
So we should decide that right now. And again, the policy meeting can be virtual, right? So let's say this. Is that too much? Policy meeting at 5, school board at 6, and town meeting at roughly 7:30.
and then we would go to the town meeting. Is that what you're
Right.
saying? We would go
Yep, we
there.
can-
Okay, I got
We
it.
can do
Okay.
anything we want. We can do them virtual. And Wendy, like, just using anybody, if you're not comfortable, all we need is a quorum.
Right,
You know, all the decisions are made. You're not going to be, you know, appreciate the sport. I get all that, right?
yeah,
But it's not like we're making any decisions that night. You guys have been to it before. There's going to be a vote. And usually if there are questions, they're directed at me. I'm just saying, if you're not comfortable,
Mhm.
3 of us have to show up. That's
Right.
all I'm saying. Because I have no other alternative. There's no other way we can get our
Mhm.
budget moving forward unless we have 3 school board members showing up at roughly 7:30 at the town hall. Everything else I'm flexible on.
Okay.
Well, you're uncomfortable with going, Wendy. And that's,
No, not necessarily.
There's no issue to it.
My question was, about the numbers of people. That was
Right,
already
and the
addressed.
masks.
But also I feel strongly that, we would all wear masks, but that was also addressed.
Mhm.
So, as long as those criteria are fulfilled, of course I would go, but I'm just checking because, there's so many different people have so many different ideas of what is safe and what isn't. And like I said, I have my 88-year-old mother living with us and we have to be careful. So,
Well,
you know.
Donnell, you're in the
I'm in
same
the
boat.
same, I don't live with my mother, but I'm the only human she's been having contact with, so, yeah.
Hey,
But you
listen,
also have to be careful
And
of
I'm
your
a
immune
cancer
system.
survivor, so
That's-
my
yeah.
immune system isn't what it should be.
That's right, it's been compromised.
me
So
either.
do you want to say you won't be there, Donnell?
No.
Okay,
Not necessarily. I want to find out what the town is going to require as far as sanitation and healthy practices. And if they're
Okay.
not requiring anything, I probably will opt out.
You know
Don't blame
something?
you.
We have time.
Yep.
We have a good solid 3 weeks before we have to make this decision.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and the last date is, we were thinking, and this is up to you guys, but we had thrown it out talking to Tina, August 11th. We're gonna have 2 meetings in August just to help us catch up a little bit. And especially with that reopening plan, I think we're gonna need 2 meetings in August. So I have suggested August 11th and August 25th. And I said, location to be determined. We don't know what it's gonna be yet.
Right.
These Zoom meetings are going pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, I think they're going great.
Yeah.
excuse me, as I cough.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. By the way, it's not COVID, it's bronchitis, so I tell that to everybody.
So for June 23rd, I've put down a policy meeting for 5 o'clock, a school committee from 6 to 7, and the Sebago town meeting 7:30 to 8:30.
Correct. And the location for the first 2 are location TBD, to be determined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
then August 11th and 25th, location to be determined at 6:30 for the committee meeting, or 6 o'clock? 6:30 is what we usually do.
Yeah, 6:30
No, but- Yeah, either
The
way.
11th and 25th, 6:30, okay.
Yes, that's back to normal, 6:30, you're right.
Are we gonna need a policy meeting in there, or is this just gonna be reopening?
Let's just
school?
wait on the August,
Okay.
because the goal is to be done,
Right,
right? And if it's not, we'll bring it to August.
okay. I'd like to run through the role about your feelings about not having a meeting in July. Wendy, are you okay with that or not?
Yeah, I'm okay. My question was, that's when the vote is that correct?
July
Yes.
14th.
Yeah,
Okay, so that would be vote for
The budget.
school committee members such as Tina, and then I know Donnell, you're not running again, is that correct?
I did not take out papers,
Okay, so
and
That
I don't
is-
know if anybody else did.
did they, Tina?
Beg your pardon?
Didn't you know someone who was gonna take out
Somebody
papers?
was in, but I haven't seen her. I don't know whether she has or she hasn't.
So we need to know.
However, that doesn't prevent people from writing in
Ian, there you
names.
go.
And if there was nobody else running for my position, if anybody did write-ins, whoever had the most of those will be
That's it.
considered elected if they accept the position.
I'm
Okay.
totally out of this, but Alan, could you check on that and get back to us with the town?
I would be glad to. Yeah.
I'm just curious, because it's always good to have extra competition if we can.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I don't know, Joe may be able to say if any in the caucus were the school committee openings considered there?
They
Joe?
were considered there, and that's basically Tina that was the only candidate that showed up at the meeting. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
And as an observation, if we have somebody who is really interested, and as Donnell said, you might be able to get on the board with 5 votes.
I'm thinking
Because
about
what's going to
getting in
happen
touch.
if we don't have somebody there, what's going to happen is that somebody with 1 or 2 votes is going to get the offer to join the board. And
Right.
let's just say it could be a wonderful person, but it could also be a person who just wants to play with us.
Mhm. I
So
think
what
I'll
you're
get in
saying, Joe, is if Donnell really would agree to taking another position, if all of us were to cast a vote for her, she'd be a shoo-in.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
We're talking about you, Donnell. You're not supposed to respond.
All right. And a good place to maybe to put a notice that if somebody wants, that could be writing candidates would be on the web page for the Sebago
No,
residents.
just as a last thought, because I'm going back to our policies and stuff. If nobody who gets even 2 votes chooses to get on the board, did we have something in the policy that led us to invite somebody?
No,
No?
not that I
No,
know of, Joe. We have a right to replace somebody who becomes
Yeah.
ill or withdraws.
during
But
the-
to
their
my,
term.
knowledge, that doesn't exist. And it won't happen because there'll be a writing candidate and, it'll be what it is.
Well, I understand that, but
Nobody's going to get 0 votes. Right?
let's put it this way. On occasion,
You're right.
they
All
get
right.
people with 5 votes, 4 votes, 3 votes, and 2 votes, and they go through the whole list. And nobody wants to participate. I hate to say this, but there's an awful lot of people who were willing to give you your opinion, but not work with you in time. So you could very easily end up with a vacant school board position.
Be awesome to
So-
get somebody with a pre-K kid, somebody, the new flow over.
Mhm.
Well, and going back to what you just said, if somebody, quote, gets elected and then leaves, we have some input in that, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Then we
Positive.
can-
Done that. Happened before to me.
So if Donnell would allow us to write her in and she got in, she could,
resign.
leave. And that would leave us in at least a position where we might find a person who's interested. I am really afraid of just, having somebody who wants to play with us get on board.
Well, we should probably first wait and find out if somebody else has
Now
taken
took
out
papers,
papers,
right.
because
Yeah.
COVID hit when you were supposed to be taking out papers.
That's right.
That's
I
when
understand that, but my
And I haven't been
understanding,
able to find out yet from, Desiree had no idea. Maureen's the only one who apparently has that information, but she hasn't been working at the town office anytime I've called, so we should be able to have that. It's public information.
I was following
Al's gonna
that.
find out for us.
I was following that, and the last I got for a reading on it, just as this was happening, was there was nobody taking out papers for your position. Okay, we can check that, but I think the probability is about 95%.
Well, we could always do a little bit of recruiting between now and then too. If nobody's taken out papers, I mean, we all know people in Sebago, and we can do a little recruiting and see if we can't twist a few arms.
Well, I'm strongly suggesting that we do that.
Yeah, well,
Put up
let's
some
Okay.
we have to
signs, Wendy.
huh?
Put out some signs. Go stand on the corner.
Yeah, well,
Right?
hey, let's make a few phone calls and just people that we know and just say, would you be willing to be a write-in? You know, and then we could maybe even discuss it. I don't know. Can we? No, maybe we can't. I don't know.
Off the record. Off the record.
Off the
All
record.
school
Yeah,
committee, all school committee members are now assigned to twisting arms to find somebody to run for the school committee.
sounds good
Can
to me.
I hit pause on the record with that comment?
Oh.
And if you did have a strong, I really want to do this, that everybody likes, it wouldn't hurt to have a couple signs at the foot of the town hall, because if people have a choice, you know, they might just write the name in.
Right.
I'll make
Okay.
a sign. Can I do that?
The last item on my agenda was the 5th grade, you know, the letter we sent to all the parents. Because we have a policy, then we've tried that we can't give kids rides that don't live in Sebago. Because we don't have the same insurance as MSD 61. And so that's the way it stands. And, you know, there might be some issues that in the future, but I sent you a letter. All had a copy before we sent it out.
That letter will go home on the 12th when we give everybody their report card for this last trimester.
And Tina, I'm done.
Well, okay, Mark, you sure?
And we can move to B because we're withdrawing the SPED. I should have
Right.
said that earlier.
Under action items, we're withdrawing.
Kathy's in
Hobbs.
charge of all policies. Right,
All right.
right, Kathy?
Yep.
All right. Revision to the student handbook.
Yes.
I need a vote. Donnell. You
Do we need a motion or just vote?
A motion.
Well, let's have a motion. A
A
vote?
motion? I move that we accept the revision to the student handbook.
Second it.
Okay. Moved and seconded to accept the student handbook. Donnell?
Yes.
Okay. Audrey isn't here. Joe?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Tina? Yes. All right. For the second read to the policies on 1 through 14. With adjustments as discussed in the policy meeting for number 9. All the others were just typo corrections, but we made some adjustments in the discussion for the policy at the policy meeting on JK.
So number 9 is in or out, Tina?
It is in,
Okay.
but with the addition, with adjustments as discussed in the policy meeting.
Do you want a motion?
That's what I'm waiting for, it's a motion.
Okay, I move that we accept the second reads on policies 1 through 14, including the adjustments that were made during our policy workshop on
Number 9.
number 9.
Number 9.
Second on that?
I'll second it.
Okey doke, thank you. Donnell, vote.
Yes.
Okay, Joe?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
And Tina, yes. Okay, on the first read, we got to 11.
We also did the last one, which was the wellness.
And
That's the next motion.
that's the next one on the policy
We'll-
revision.
Yeah. 1 to 11, and then we did,
So we did the revision of the student handbook. But we did
and we
that.
also did the wellness. Oh, is that a different one?
That's a different one, Wendy. It's
Okay,
under-
never mind. Yep,
Yep.
okay.
All right. Under the
11.
first read of the policies 1 through 11. Do
I
we-
make a
do we-
motion that we accept the first reads of policies 1 through 11 under D,
With,
under the heading D.
okay. With the corrections that we made on them, Joe?
With the corrections that have been made on them.
Thank you. Anybody willing to second that?
I second that.
Okay, thank you. All right, it's been moved and seconded as a first read for policies 1 through 11 with the corrections that we made during the policy meeting prior to the school committee meeting. Donnell?
Yes.
Yeah, vote.
Yes.
Okay. Joe?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes?
Tina? Yes. Then C, policy revision first reading under
Quick
student
question, Tina?
wellness. What?
Question.
Yep.
You want to put 12 through 21 on next week's,
I'm so-
next month's agenda?
Yes, Alan, thank you for that.
Okay. Okay, gotcha, thank you.
Thank you. For the first read under student wellness, are we willing to do that with the corrections that we made? Somebody
I
make
make
a
a
motion for that?
motion that we accept the revision as a first read of the student wellness policy.
I'll second it.
All right. Donnell?
Yes.
Yes. Joe?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes?
Tina is a yes. Under discussion items is the
Wait a
draft
minute,
of-
you have one more action item.
What was
Remember
that?
you moved the pre-K 2021
Oh,
from earlier?
oh, yes. We're looking at pre-K being 4.5 days for the week, and with the other half day for the teachers to do their planning. So could I have a motion to accept, or to accept the 4.5 day pre-K school week?
I'll make a motion to accept the 4.5 days for the, as discussed, for the pre-K in 2021.
I'll
I second.
it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, you guys. Okay. Preschool. Okay, so that's going to be Donnell,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yep.
and Tina is a yes. All right, now we're looking at the draft. Is that what I'm going doing?
Draft calendar?
Yeah. For 2021?
Yep, and you all have a copy, correct?
No.
No,
Uh-oh.
none of us do. We can do that next month. No?
Well, we had hoped to send that out to families with their end of year packets. So
When you're sending that out to your
Is that in
students?
my email
on.
anywhere?
Shelley sent it to me earlier today. I can pull it up and share the screen.
Okay, you can share the screen?
I can't share your screen, but I can share my screen.
Oh, that's good. Your screen, my screen. Everybody loves my screen.
Hey, did anybody on Facebook see that music teacher? The soft-spoken,
Yes.
teacher that made up she wanted to write a song for
Mhm.
how she was coping with the COVID virus, and she built it all up, and she starts strumming her ukulele. Anybody besides Kirsten and me see it?
No. I
No.
didn't
And
Oh,
so
it's hilarious.
this quiet, cute little thing is strumming her ukulele, several different chords, and she strums away, and then she goes, ah! and strums a little bit more, and she goes, ah! That's how she's coping with the virus. So it was the last thing you expected out of that girl's mouth.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right. So let me share my screen. I have the calendar in
That was funny.
of me. There.
Okay, here we
Should
go.
all be able to see the screen. I don't know how
Is
well.
there any way to make it bigger?
Well, yes.
Oh, wait, I'm making it bigger. Ooh,
Okay, you must be making it bigger on your screen.
I'm on, oh, there we go. Yeah, haha, there we are. I'm on a phone, so my screen's small.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to read any of it.
So basically, we kept everything in alignment with SAD 61. We did put in where we have half days on the first Wednesday of every month, except for February and January, where it's the first Monday because of the ski season. The holiday vacation breaks are the same. The holidays are the same. Our teacher workshops are the same. First day of school, open house on the 31st, which is that Tuesday, as well as pre-K and K orientation.
I can't see January, but I'm sure it's down there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. There's January.
There it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
there it is.
January's still there. Yes. We included our days on this calendar for pre-K and K screening. And by law, we have to be in compliance with within 5 days, 5 student days with any district that we work with. And we do a fair amount of work with Gorham for students as well as SAD 61, and we are compliant with that.
I say we give it a go.
Sure.
Do I need to take a vote on that?
Looks good.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's a
there's not
discussion
much,
item.
guys. We're just following 61 because that's what we have to do.
Okay. That's just a discussion item. We don't need to vote on it, right?
I think the calendar does need to be approved by the board, doesn't it?
Well,
We
I'd
have
like
in
to run it by the
past.
teachers first.
Oh, right.
And we can send this out as a tentative because it's tentative due to COVID anyway.
Right.
As long as the board's had a chance to look at it, I hate to have a calendar approved without showing it to the teachers and getting their
Right.
input. And then we'll come back in June for an official vote. How's that sound?
Okay.
But we will put it out as a tentative calendar for next
All
year.
right. So we'll send that out to families
Correct.
with the word draft, which is on it right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're going to meet with the teachers before it goes out on the 12th. If there's any changes, we'll let you know.
Okay.
Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yep.
I just think it's important to have the teacher input before we commit to it.
Right. Definitely.
So I will forward that on to everybody.
What's up? All right. I would like to now have a motion to adjourn or to go into executive session.
What about public comments?
Oops.
You got to do.
No, we're coming back. We'll be coming back from executive set. Wait a minute. We're
I was
public
thinking do
comment.
You do public comments
now,
first.
Tina.
Oh, okay.
And then people can check out if they want. And then we'll
Yeah.
come back with we'll
Right.
follow up that way.
All right. Are there any comments from the participating public? We'd love to hear from you. I am taking it that there are no comments from the public, correct?
Yep, seeing none.
See, I
All
was
right.
thinking, Tina, to go, we were talking about how do you do executive session? The only way to do an executive session is to have everybody sign out. Kirsten's not going to sign out because she's hosting the meeting.
Yep, but I
Right, so
can't,
she's
I
gonna
can't
step up.
actually pause the recording.
The
So,
recording.
yeah,
Yeah. And
Yep.
then she'll come back and then we'll vote and then adjourn.
right.
So we sign out?
So
No, no.
now I would.
You guys
no, no.
stay where you are.
Kathy, Alan, Leslie, Mandy, and Randa.
Okay. All right.
Thank you,
Adios.
guys.
Randa, I can text you what the voting results are, or I can text you if you want to come back into the meeting. Which do you want?
You can just text me.
The results?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's fine.
Okay. All
And
right.
what we'll do is we'll text Alan the vote results
Yes,
and the time that we adjourn
yes.
and the
Yeah.
time we come back from executive session. We'll take care of you, Alan.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. So now
All
I
right.
need a motion and a second to go into executive session.
Right. I'd like to have a
I
motion
move-
to go into,
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tina.
I'd like to have
Or
a motion
Donnell?
to go into executive session, please.
I move that we go into executive session.
I'll second it.
All right. It is moved and seconded to go into executive session. So are we off the clock, Houston?
All right. Move, seconded, approved. I press.
3-year teacher's contract.
We are recording again.
I make a motion that we approve the 3-year teacher's contract.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
that. Or Wendy can second it.
Wendy, second.
Okay, wait a minute. Donnell,
Yes.
seconded by Wendy.
Yes.
All right. So we have a motion and a second to approve the 3-year teacher contract. Wendy, Donnell, yay
Yeah.
or nay?
Yes. Yay.
Got it. Joe,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Tina?
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you. Joe, good
Okay.
job. Thank you very much for the help.
Thank you very much to the both of you. That was a lot of hours that you guys put in with that. And the
Yeah,
teacher.
one more to go.
teachers. One
One
more?
more session, we'll have the other two for you.
What are the
Oh,
other two?
The other two are the non-teaching contract
Yeah,
and the ed tech contract.
Oh, wow.
okay. We'll be waiting for you.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
I have this dream of all contracts and all policies being done in the June meeting. It would be great, really.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know what to do if we had it all done.
No,
been under
we
the
could-
gun all
no, we
year.
could do deeper stuff.
Be nice to have July off, Mark.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm
Yes.
burnt out. Too much computer, too much uncertainty. And then I'd rather take a break. And of course, you can't take a break because I'll be following things. I'll be going to supers meetings. But, just, no, I don't have to whine. It's just that, by God, there's so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
It's really hard to
It's
make a plan
frustrating.
and keep everybody happy. Our president's not helping. Because it seems like we're so dichotic. You know what I mean? There's no happy median. So I don't know.
We'll survive. We're
Oh
tough.
yeah.
All right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
That's my man, Joe. Who's
I'll
gonna second that
second.
puppy? Okay. Moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. Donnell,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yep.
and Tina, by all means. Yes.
Thank you very much. Hey,
All
Kirsten,
right.
I had
Thank
to,
you, everybody.
I
Yes.
had to
you.
change that
Yeah.
Thursday meeting with Sue again. I didn't check my personal schedule before.
Okay.
I sent out a change for that. You'll see it.
Okay.
And Joe, we'll see you. I think it's next Wednesday, right?
That's correct.
Correct. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, see you in
Night all.
June.
Keep it
Keep safe now.
June.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Kirsten, one more- Wendy, you still want that link, right?